I'm gonna show you how to turn this into this. Let's get it, y'all. What's up, guys? Nick Rich here, back with another video. And yes, if you saw from the cover photo, this is going to be a Adobe Photoshop tutorial. Been living in Photoshop for the past 18 years now. Talked about that in my CapCut video. Shout out to all the love I got on there. Got a lot of new subscribers. Y'all welcome to the channel. We're talking Photoshop today. This is where everything really started for me. It actually started in Microsoft Paint. I did an album cover in there. I did a photo shoot, and my boy was like, "Hey, can you do the album cover?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't even know where to start to do that," because I used to draw. Like, I was a sketch artist. I used to draw Slam magazine covers and stuff like that with pencils, crayons, colored pencils. Like, this was my thing. I didn't know digital out. It was another world to me. I was like, "You want me to do what now?"
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
2006, I got Photoshop CS2, the rest of the story, here we are. Today we're talking about Generative Fill. And there was a time, guys, where I was the Generative Fill, and I was the one button, select subject, remove background. We didn't have that when Photoshop first started. So I used to literally mask out images from artists that I was working with, stuff that I was doing for myself with just the eraser tool. I didn't even use the lasso tool like everybody else. Like, there was a magnetic lasso. I don't even know if that's in Photoshop anymore. I don't use it. But I used to cut out everything, just literally pixel by pixel, making sure it was the perfect cutout, then going back and adding my shadows and stuff like that. But now you can do that with a click of a button. And I'm going to show you how I took this photo and turned it into this. Same exact photo, using the laws of perspective, matching the color with the background, and all of that good stuff. All right, so let's dive right into it. All right, guys, so I'm going to move my artboard over a little bit, actually. Just because I want this to be the only thing you really see in the screen right now. I will keep them lined up. All right, guys, so there's really no rule of thumb to this that I follow. Again, if you're taking any tips from me, this is not industry standard. This is just the way that I do it and the way that it works for me. So sometimes I'll go hunt for my background first, take a look at my subject, see what they're wearing. If I want to create, some harmony there, I'll try to match them with a background. So while I'm doing my background search, whether it's going to be some scenery, something abstract, I'll try to get colors that are similar to what they're wearing. Or if I want to create some contrast, I'll get colors completely opposite. Or if you want to be a Photoshop wizard, you can always get any color and just match it to whatever works for the project that you're working on. You can blend the colors, you can create a gradient. Art is really what you make it. So I try not to limit myself into anybody's boxes or guidelines. I always try to stretch the margin just a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead with this one. I'm going to cut myself out and then we'll go from there. Now, guys, these are minor details down here that probably won't get picked up, but I'm like the worst critic of my own work. So if you don't have to get this deep with it, you don't. So even with something like this, while doing my cutout, I didn't really zoom in to see what was going on with my foot down here. Press S on your keyboard, you get your clone stamp tool, and I can just clone the rest of the sole here and fill in what I lost. You go back, you clone it again, and then you start to paint. And then you can fix whatever isn't supposed to be there in post. And I'm not really going to pay attention to that detail because it'll be small when I'm done with it anyway. And let's clean up this piece over here by my arm. I have some ghosting here from the green and tree that was behind me in the original photo. Let's get that out of there. So the next step that I did, I went to MidJourney and looked for a background. I had an idea of where I wanted to be sitting. If you guys have seen Avatar, the first one, the floating islands.
You should see your faces.
Like, I wanted that to be kind of in the background. I posted this picture on my 40th birthday that I just celebrated April 30th. And I didn't get that kind of background that I wanted, but I did find something that I liked in MidJourney. So I'm just going to show you guys my steps to creating the prompt in MidJourney to get the background that I needed. I initially started with a mystical scene with floating island, probably should have put an S there, birds flying, a waterfall in the distance, HRD, which that was supposed to be HDR, Surreal Unreal Engine. They're the software company that develops for epic games such as Fortnite, such as Star Wars, such as every game system that you know, PS4, PS5, Xbox, Windows games, Apple, Oculus. You can create your own like digital worlds with Unreal Engine.
Interesting.
So when you use that in a prompt in MidJourney, it can be either cartoon, it can be animated, but it's going to look real. It's just a different way to combine words and keywords, things that I learned on YouTube about how to fine tune your prompts and get exactly what you're looking for out of MidJourney. This is what I got out of that. I could have used this, but it wasn't really the feel that I wanted, right? So then I went with a mystical scene, floating land, birds flying, waterfall in the distance, HDR, surreal Unreal Engine, golden hour, because I wanted the time of day to be around, golden hour. So this really warm tones, right? Futuristic sky, digital screens floating. I was looking for that kind of back to the future with the neon ticker or news going in the background, because I mean I've done some things like that in MidJourney. That is a completely different world. Going to be another video about that one. And hyper realistic is just another one of the keywords that MidJourney accepts that lets you know that you want something that's real, but it's not real, but it looks real. Dash dash AR 4:5. That's just aspect ratio. I did 4:5 because again I was doing this for my birthday post for Instagram. 4:5 in portrait mode. S1000. S is just for style, and I didn't want to turn this into a mini MidJourney tutorial, but the more that you put on the value of the style is the sharper, the more fine-tuned the image it's going to spit back at you. All right, these are the options that I got with that one. Not too bad. More so, Star Wars, the one where Anakin turns into Darth Vader. What is that? Revenge of the Sith. It was giving me that, and that's not what I was looking for. So then I moved on and I went back to my original one. Like I liked the scene that was in there. So I did a mystical scene, blah, 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 added all that stuff and just added golden hour because golden hour was matching more of the warm tones that I wanted. And it gave me a couple different looks, and I believe this is the one I went with. I really liked the waterfall being on the left, and then there was still some more in the back over here. The birds were perfect coming in with the sun. So in MidJourney now, you can upscale it, and I believe I upscaled this again, and I ended up with this one, right? So let's copy and take this back into Photoshop, all right? And I'm just gonna paste it, blow it up behind me. And here's a tip, guys. If you ever blow up an image in Photoshop and you zoom in, you see this banding here and it looks really distorted, go up to filter, go to add noise, and it just puts a little bit of grain on that photo and it brings back some of the detail that you missed when you blew it up. This is a little bit too much for me. Let's gonna start lower, like around 3. Let's go 2. 2 looks good. I still see some of it here. Let me go back to 3. 3 gets rid of it just a little bit more. I like that one. And I'll put it behind me. Now, clearly, in my original picture, I am on a railing on a balcony, right? So I'm going to need something behind me for me to be sitting on in my new background. So what I did on my original, I literally went over here and used Generative Fill in Photoshop and typed in a railing. And we're going to see what it gives me this time. So I'm going to select that layer, get my selection tool. I want to be sitting like right about here. And again, guys, it's all about perspective. So in this photo here, I made myself a lot smaller so I could fit on this railing here. This is giving me, back porch of an old castle, maybe overlooking some water in the backyard, really crazy waterfall. So I wanted to have a feel of, I would say if if I was being more realistic, it would have thicker columns here. But when I originally did this one, I had to extend this out, and I may have to show you that here. We're going to see what Generative Fill gives me. So I'm going to select this area right about here, go up to Edit, and Generative Fill. I'm going to type in a castle balcony overlooking the water underneath. thick columns in the framework. See what that gives me. And again, guys, if you're using Adobe Generative Fill, it gives you 3 different options that you can see on the right panel. If you don't like those options, you can hit it again and just keep going until you get what you're looking for. Not too bad. I could go with that one. I don't know what that is at all. That works, but it's just a little bit too low. I don't want to settle for that one. I think I need to bring this up just a little bit higher. So we're going to delete this layer altogether and come up a little higher with our balcony. But those weren't bad options. And castle. All right, so let's try this again and see what we get. Not really what I need. This is closer. It's actually changed the water that's in my original image as well. That also works. I do like that one, but the depth here is telling me that there's more space in between, and I don't want that. I kind of want to go with this. So then, again, it's all about perspective. If you look at it right now, you see where I'm sitting at. Even if I just drag myself down here, I am way too big for this balcony for the perspective to be matching. So what I'm going to do is hold my Option key to keep my orientation and just drag down, make myself just a lot smaller, just like I did in the original photo, right? And if you zoom in, because of where I was shot that day, there's a shadow on this side of my hand, just like it is on the balcony. So there are different ways to play with the light when you get a subject in Photoshop, but with this one, I really don't have to because the light is already matching up for what I need it to be. The sun is facing the back. There's a glare around my body here, hitting my shoulders, there's shadow in the front. So the light in this composite is fully matching. I don't have to play around with any of the lighting. Thank God. What I want to do is, in order to make this realistic, I want the shadow of my hand to be matched up with the light on the balcony. So it looks like the light is hitting everything at the same exact spot. This looks fairly realistic. Like this balcony, again, this is a castle. Things weren't really built to tip-top scale back then. There were a lot of large doors, large columns, and that's really the feel that I was looking for. So this actually looks good right about here. I could put myself off to the side a bit, maybe this side, but I actually want to fill in this middle area because now, because of the image that came with the generative fill, it took away from the water that I had, but it gives me, you know, there's another drop-off waterfall behind me. So I'm going to place myself right there again, keeping my hand in line with the way the shadow lines up from the light. And then we're just going to hit enter and leave it right there. Could I be done? This looks okay, right? Always want to take it a step further. So click on myself, go up to filter, neural filters, and you want to have harmonization on. Neural filters is still in beta. There are a lot of things that Adobe announced that they're working on, that they're going to be adding to. There are a lot of things in the market. There's a wait list over here for other things, long exposure, portrait generator, shadow, like all of these things are coming down the line and they're constantly working on things. Harmonization is when it gives you a subject and you can match it up with another layer without doing any color grading. The AI does it for you. So we're going to turn this on. It's going to ask for a reference image. And you select the layer. I want to match it up to my generative fill layer. I believe it's number 7. And it does the magic right for you. As you can see just there, it changed the light and really put me in the scene here. And then over here, you still have an editor, and I'm going to play around with these colors because I really want to make it look like I was sitting right there in that moment on that day. So I'm going to add some red over here. This is giving me more of that warm glow. Just a little bit more yellow. Add some more warmth to me and everything I had on, and it just blends me in with this whole scene a lot better. It makes it look like I am actually sitting there. And that's it, guys. So we went from here to here using Adobe Photoshop, MidJourney, some filters, and a few edits, and you're done. You got a full composite. Does it look like I'm sitting there to you guys? Let me know what you think in the comments. That's how you create an unrealistic scene with any picture or image. You have to make sure you're matching scale, perspective, shadows, colors, make it look as realistic as possible. If there's anything else you guys want to see or learn about Photoshop, please, I am an open library. All right, ebook coming soon. It's going to be an intro to Photoshop. I'm going to have some Canva in there, a little bit of editing tips and stuff like that, talking about mindset, putting everything together. Hopefully we'll be launching in June. I got a team working with me on the back end. And subscribe, guys. Stay tuned for the updates. And if there's anything you guys want to see, let me know down in the comments. Back to work, y'all. Let's get it.